Aion 2 is an upcoming MMORPG that's been in development since 2018. This is a game that upon the initial announcement I had zero hype for, because it seemed like it would be almost entirely designed for mobile, with a PC port tacked on like Blade and Soul 2, which was announced at a similar time. Thankfully, this doesn't actually seem to be the case, and from the recent footage shown of Aion 2, it definitely looks way more PC focused than mobile. According to the devs, whilst Aion 2 will be playable on mobile, they don't expect mobile players to be able to do the difficult content. It's expected that mobile will be for more casual content like crafting, gathering, and mini-games. This actually sounds fine to me. The main reasons I generally lose hype for a game when it announces mobile PC crossplay is that 1. Designing a game to be fully playable on mobile limits the gameplay potential of the PC experience in terms of the complexity of combat, gameplay mechanics, and the amount of abilities you have access to. And 2, many mobile games, especially MMOs, have traditionally been massive pay-to-win cash grabs. That being said, I like this approach the Aion 2 devs are taking here, and it's a trend I've noticed with a few cross-platform PC mobile games coming out of the East recently. Design a full PC MMO, then just have the mobile port intended for casual content. If the game then has reasonable monetization, then I'd actually have no problem with an MMO also being playable on mobile. In this video, I'll share with you the recently revealed gameplay of Aion 2, as well as give you my thoughts on the game, explaining why this has gone from something I wasn't even going to cover on the channel to something I'm actually looking forward to trying out. But first, support the content by listening to today's sponsor, Crysis X. Picture this, a gritty 1990s frontier-style apocalypse where you write your own survival story. Crysis X drops you onto a seamless 1,200 km² open-world map with up to 5,000 players on a single server. One living, breathing world on PC with mobile connected too, from dusty frontier towns and hidden labs to icy peaks and roaring rivers. Each region has its own resources, risks, and even mutants. Here's the gist: you'll scavenge, craft, and survive real conditions: hunger, thirst, disease, and even the weather. Eat smart, gear up for the heat or cold, and training literally builds muscle that makes you stronger. Combat is entirely up to you. Go quiet with a machete or bow, or go loud with pistols, sniper rifles, or machine guns. And when a horde of mutants or even a titan mutant roll in, you can always team up with your friends and bring along some RPGs and grenades for extra firepower. The real wild card is other survivors, who might roll up in armoured vehicles from modded M113s and Bradleys to a World War II Sherman battling over a single oil well. Your counter? Tanks of your own, landmines, or smarter tactics. Build a homestead and turn it into a fortress, fences, farms, livestock, even craft a sports car or SUV. Just don't get too flashy because raids are real. Or team up, join a commune, seize resource points, and unwind with poker, fishing, mountain streams, and even rodeo-style herding. Wishlist Crysis X on Steam now using my link in the description. So let's dive right into Aion 2's gameplay, because that's what's most important and actually changed my outlook on this game. I'll play a few clips from the 4 classes that were shown in the order of Ranger, Sorcerer, Cleric, and Templar. Then I'll give you my thoughts after. Bear in mind these clips are taken from a mix of both the KR dev livestream and Taiwan dev stream. The Taiwan stream has better gameplay with what seems to be lower graphics settings, but they covered the hotbar with subtitles. I think the Templar footage is also a bit buggy too.
罗坦应该是原作中里面的怪物。好，大家仔细看一下我们这个真实游戏画面这个战斗的样子，技能的展现啊等等这些，大家都可以仔细的看一下。上面一直有那个火喷下来这个。用一个大家都要打它，所以表示在上面这个数字看不到。对，上面这个45是它的那个怪物等级，左边那个。
자동 죽기 있습니다. 진 크기가 좀 작다고 하는데 다음 빌드에서는 진 크기 좀 늘려줄 수 있나요?
아, 예, 늘릴 수 있습니다.
네, 지금 아직 개발 단계니까 얘기해 주시면은 적용하겠습니다.
악을
피해야 돼요. 네.
으악!
네, 요래 왔다 갔다 왼쪽 오른쪽. 네.
오. 아.
那
像我们角色是不是应该近一点给大家可以看到我们的操作的感觉？远景的话，玩家是不是看不太清楚？
现在可能有点自顾不暇，有啦。
对啊，对，我们等一下调整一下好吗？
大家有没有听到这个瑞的这个按这个按键的声音？这是其实也是真的很吃你的手指的这个操作。
所以这真的不是手游，这个时候对，就是要疯狂输出紫色剂量要出现的时候。哇！招式闪避机制，
我们上一次直播有介绍过的。
对，我们采用招式闪避机制。
我们的角色还可以再靠近吗？就是它画面还可以再近吗？还是就是这样？
都可以啊，因为我是。
지금 보시는 화면 이제 치유의 인터페이스 화면이고요. 치유 혼자 열리라는 모습 보이죠? 영차.
저희는 이제
다시
또
공성으로.
你看到的时候只剩下最后一个 BOSS，
对，
那打完了就，
你拿到奖励时间比较
可是
少一点。
很方便，很方便。
对，所以我们还是有兼顾平衡性的。
有人说这个视角还是太远了，都是这个技能，就是这个技能就是。
는 몹이 이제 그로기 상태에 빠지게 됩니다.
숫자징 없냐고 하는데 숫자징이 저희가 있습니다. 숫자징은 안 당겨집니다. 네, 지금 크로메데 보스 이제 하는 거고 딜미터기 있나요 하는데 딜미터기는 좀
活队友，
就是你可以复活队友。
对
但我还是想要讲，刚刚是谁说轻轻松松一下秒掉？
我不小心睁开眼睛的。如果一直闭着，
所以闭着就可以通过，
对
我们睁开就会通过，
闭着才能过。
So, what did you think of that? My first reaction after seeing that gameplay was, holy crap, those damage numbers look absolutely mental. The way the floating combat text pops out definitely makes the combat look and feel super flashy, especially when combined with the super flashy visual effects and punchy audio-visual feedback. At times, it looked like a visual clusterfuck, but I think it's so over the top that it actually works and looks kind of fun. Out of the four classes shown to me, I think the Ranger looks the best and the Templar looks the worst. Something I was happy to see with Aeon 2's gameplay is that not every ability roots you in place. It looks like each class had multiple abilities that could be cast on the move, as well as mobility abilities that, whilst not buttery smooth, at least looked fairly responsive. Another thing I noticed was that across each of the four classes, the colour of the ability icons are all the same colour, making it kinda hard to visually differentiate abilities. This could be placeholder, but I don't like it. When it comes to the user interface as a whole, I'm glad it's using a proper PC MMO hotbar layout rather than mobile, but the UI definitely gives mobile vibes, especially when looking at the menus, the inventory, or the loot with the massive buttons. The UI as a whole also looks really soulless. To be fair, I never liked the original Aeon UI either, so I guess it's not too different. When it comes to the amount of abilities you'll have access to, I'm glad to see Aeon 2 not compromise too hard to accommodate for mobile users. Looking at the hotbar, we can see a total of 12 abilities if you include left and right click, hotkeys 1 to 8, and the things bound to Q and E. The devs clarified that there's additional abilities you can trigger from combos and activations, with there being around 40 total abilities per class if you include active, passive, and stigma skills. I think this should be enough. As long as the cooldowns on abilities aren't too long and you're not auto-attacking waiting for something to press, then I'll be happy. Overall impressions from Aeon 2's combat purely from looking at this footage is that it seems better than the combat in Throne and Liberty. It's hard to tell for sure without actually playing it for myself, but to me it looks faster, more mobile, and a bit more flashy. In places it does look a bit janky, and I certainly noticed some desync, but it looks like it could be fun. Aside from the dungeon and combat gameplay, we also got a showcase of Aeon 2's character creator. Now, I distinctly remember the original Aeon having a very good character customization for its time, so it came as no surprise that Aeon 2 also has everything you'd expect from a modern Korean MMO's character creator. Makeup, face sliders, eyes, hair, and yes, you can indeed make your character have massive tits with a fat ass.
好了。
对，等一下。
Unlike Chrono Odyssey's recent playtest though, it seems like Aeon 2's characters actually look the same in-game as they do on the character creator, so that's nice.
여러분들 정말 감사합니다. 다음에 뵙겠습니다.
谢谢大家，拜
拜拜。
We also got to see some gameplay of characters flying around with their epic angelic wings. This is probably the most iconic thing about AION, and I do think that it looks really good. Thinking about it, I don't think we've had any modern MMOs with winged characters. The devs said that you'll be able to fly absolutely everywhere in AION 2. Like the first game, there'll also be aerial combat whilst in flight mode, but we didn't get to see that during the showcase. We did get to see this nice little animation that your character does teleporting to the dungeon though.
진입하겠습니다.
好，那我们现在就是我们过去这个伙伴们的地方。
对，哦，他们已经在这边。
Aside from the Sorcerer, Templar, Cleric and Ranger that were shown during the showcase, other classes include Assassin, Spirit Master, Chanter and Gladiator. When it comes to the actual content that will be present in AION 2, it seems like there's going to be a solid mix of both PvP, solo PvE and group PvE. PvP content includes 1v1 and 4v4 arenas, 8v8 payload battlegrounds, Rift of Time, Abyss open world PvP, PvP in the enemy territory, and a 3D battlefield for both ground and aerial combat. Solo PvE content includes 10 boss nightmare dungeons. These have rankings and are designed for skilled players. Sealed dungeons, which are discovered in the world, there's 60 of these dungeons per faction, and they're designed to combine both PvP and PvE elements. Garrisons basically liberate different difficulty levels of forts from NPCs, and awakening battles. These are time attack style boss fights where you can compete with other players for the fastest time. Group PvE content includes expeditions, which are your standard dungeons for 1 to 4 players with 2 difficulty options. Transcendence, these are more difficult than expeditions for 4 players and have 10 stages to them. Your progression and rewards will be based on your performance. Subjugation, these are 4-player boss battles with random effects and modifiers applied with limited death allowance. And the big endgame pinnacle PvE content comes in the form of Sanctuary, which are 8-player endgame raids. Some other things to mention: auto combat. It's not working right now and wasn't shown during the showcase, but apparently it is in development and the goal is for partial automation, presumably for mobile users. I hope they either scrap this idea entirely or disable it for actual content. Maybe it's fine in the open world for casual content, but it still sucks. Gear stats will be RNG. Apparently the monetization hasn't been finalized, but it was said that wings won't be pay to win, they'll just be cosmetic. And the game will have realm vs realm, but the focus is more on small scale than large scale. Overall, from what I've seen of AION 2 so far, it's definitely better than I expected, and to me looks like a solid 5 out of 10 MMO. I fully expect this game to be pay to win or have a real money auction house like other recent NCSoft games, and it's also probably going to feel a bit mobile-y due to the UI. The sad thing is this game's launching in Korea first towards the end of 2025, and we'll be getting a Western release mid-2026. So as with all NCSoft MMOs, the game will unfortunately be solved by the Koreans and have guides written about it for day 1 of global release. That being said, I would still expect the game to be fun for at least a few weeks to a month, and I am personally looking forward to giving it a try. It's gone from something that I wasn't even going to mention on the channel to at least being worthy of a first impressions vid. So with the current state of the MMO genre, we take those. But that's it for this video. As always, let me know your thoughts on AION 2 based on the recent gameplay. Will AION 2 be a success? What features are you the most excited about? Help us out with a like for the algorithm if you enjoyed the vid. Social media on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.